Feral Friday is a podcast about dark romance and monster smut. So if you're not down for weird shit, this is not the show for you. Content may include explicit sexual description, explicit language, conversations about human to human, human to monster, and monster to monster sexual activities. Masturbation, questionable consent, morally gray ethics, murder out of jealousy, BDSM themes and tropes, fictional pregnancy, violence, emotional gut-wrenching story arcs, and all of the kinks. Oh, and dubious insertion of inanimate objects. We're multicultural, multipolitical, multisexual, multiracial group. We believe in inclusiveness, body positivity, bodily autonomy, and human rights for all. But we also like talking about characters getting railed by monsters and humans alike. Overall, prepare for cackling, tangents, general unhinged commentary. We're probably going to annoy the majority of the general population, but if you don't like it, instead of clutching your pearl necklace, you can just not listen. Okay, thanks, bye!
Alan Grant had long fantasized about making love to a dromaeosaurid. They were, in his opinion, the most graceful and sexiest animals that ever lived, but also the most terrifying. He'd studied them all these years for this very reason. Ellie Sattler's change had not made her any less attractive to him. Nonetheless, given their situation, he was ashamed at the thought of it. He blushed. That had been a fantasy, nothing more, until now. The pheromone gas which hung in the air did not help things. His pants tightened as his unwilling erection swelled. Interesting, said Dr. Wu, making a note. That's pure velociraptor pheromones. Humans shouldn't be able to respond to that. Alan unbuttoned his pants to relieve the pressure. Noticing this, Ellie helped him by using her new claws to tear his jeans apart at the crotch, sending bits of zipper and denim fibers flying. She was still so damn tenacious. His bare penis was exposed and erect, his pants destroyed, and Ellie carefully caressed his dick with her long, prehensile tongue. She paused to remove what remained of the shredded jeans as well as his boots, wanting her lover to be comfortable. She had some trouble with this, but managed it, cursing these new claws with a frustrated chirp. Alan stripped himself of his shirts, leaving on only his socks and bandana. Ellie returned to her work, making sure Alan's cock was hard and slick before turning and lifting her tail, chirping and gazing at him expectantly. She wanted him. Badly. Alan blushed again, looking around and thinking how horribly inappropriate their situation was. But he wanted her as well, needed her, unable to resist his own lustful urges. He loved this woman as a woman. Surely he could love her as a dinosaur. He would certainly try. And that is Changes, a Jurassic Park fanfic by Squeaky Chew Toy. My name is Erin, and I'm currently reading Measure of a Man by In a Daze 22.
I'm Ivy, and I'm reading Nightshade by Keri Lake.
I'm Sarah One, and I'm reading Baby and the Late Night Howlers by Kathryn Moon.
I'm Marie, and I'm reading Manacled by Senlinyu.
I'm Kitty, and I'm reading Titan by Jillian Graves. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 8 of Feral Friday Podcast, Unhinged and Unbothered, a podcast where we talk about smut.
I love when fanfic and when smut books try to sound really smart and use like prehensile. Like,
yeah.
Who the fuck do you think you're trying to fool? Get out of here.
Yes.
I was picking up on dinosaur, and then I was like, Ellie Sattler. Why do I know that name?
So she turned into a velociraptor? Is that?
Yeah, so I briefly read this fanfic, So I had asked my partner, I said, all right, I need to find a cold open that is fanfic based. I need you to think of a movie or a TV show, anything, and I will find a fanfic of it. His first choice was Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I couldn't find anything that got like erotic action. It was people like earnestly adding fanfic like as storylines, not like romantic plots. And then he came back and said Jurassic Park, and I was like, oh my god, that's it. Essentially, Ellie Sattler gets injected with something and turns into a velociraptor human hybrid, and Helen Grant has to breed her.
Oh my god.
Perfect.
I will say this was not the first one I found though, because there's a lot of weird fanfic about the hunter that they hire, the poacher in Jurassic Park, and him surviving on the island and like being in love with him. But this was better.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for gracing us with that cold open.
And if you couldn't guess, we're not talking about dinosaurs today.
Although we probably should make that a whole. We have some dinosaur smut that is on our list of things to read. So coming sometime to a podcast near you.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
About dinosaur smut?
I mean, she'll chirp at you excitedly.
I was dying. Like a little bird.
Chirp,
chirp, chirp.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about
I can kind of get it. Yeah. I can kind of understand why the poacher guy would have a lot of fanfic about him. Yeah. He's got
a Crocodile Dundee about him. That's
it's the accent and the like. What does he say about the raptor? Like,
oh, clever girl.
Calls her clever girl.
Clever girl.
There's like a little bit of praise kink in there.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yep. Nope. I didn't see anything about Jeff Goldblum though. But I didn't look that hard.
It's
like
too obvious.
I know this is the third thing I saw maybe. And I couldn't top this. So this was it. Yeah, fanfic, and I wanted to start at the top. I have a big oopsie corner that I've been like telling the pod was a big oopsie corner. So, in all of these episodes, I have been talking about really loving the Blade and Rose series by Miranda Honfleur. I read all of them. So, apparently, this was a 6-book series that I, according to Libby, and according to me doing one basic Google search, was complete. That is a lie. It's not just a lie. Miranda was supposed to have released the 5th book, which would be the next book I'm going to. This is why this is just occurring to me now. I've read all 4, and all 4 of these books are 700 plus pages. The Dragon King was supposed to be released August 2023. All of the pre-orders have been canceled. It's been removed from Amazon pre-order. On Miranda's website, it's just like she's like, I can't meet this deadline. She's releasing other series, but she has 2 books that she is like in contract to write. It's The Dragon King and Immortal, and they were supposed to already be out. And there's no ETA, no other news as of October of last year. And I've now cuckolded myself into a series that I like genuinely love so much. 1, I'm concerned for her health. But 2, this is my worst possible scenario. This is a nightmare. And I'm living it. And that's my oopsie corner that I've been talking. I did one basic Google search when I started talking about how good this series was. It stood up to Throne of Glass. Like, I wouldn't have read ACOTAR if I had read this first. My oopsie corner is I did one Google search and I did not know that I was walking into a never to be completed whip. Yep.
Sad.
George R.R. Martin'd yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real good.
I really did. That's my oopsie corner, because I've been talking about this shit for like months now that I loved this series and it was so good. I've told other people to read it.
JK.
I hope she's good, and I hope she comes out with it. Yeah, no, I hope she's all right, but
yeah,
real upset. Left on a cliffhanger. Real upset.
I don't blame you.
Oh man,
that's my oopsie corner.
Well, thank you for coming clean and telling us. Thank you.
I found out like 2 days ago.
Oh,
which
that's
is
so heartbreaking.
Yeah. I was like, oh, like I had to wait a pretty long time for like the library loan. Let me go put it in now, so when February's over, and I'm not reading Hermione, I can read it. And joke's on me. Fucking asshole.
Cannot. Well, speaking of Hermione,
yeah,
this episode is all about fan fiction. Not just Hermione, but the larger fan fiction.
Yes.
Umbrella as a whole.
I have so many tabs open about this. I do.
I have one core memory from high school, and that is discovering on fanfiction.net that the Bible has fanfiction written about it. Isn't the Bible just fanfiction, period?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna talk about fanfic and how it makes us feel.
Yeah. So I thought that to start us off, I would read the Wikipedia definition of fanfiction just so that everybody listening is on the same page, so we all know what we're talking about here. So, fanfiction is fictional writing written in an amateur capacity by fans, authorized by but based on an existing work of fiction. The author uses copyrighted characters, settings, or other intellectual properties from the original creators as a basis for their writing. It can range from a couple sentences to an entire novel length or more, as some of us can attest to. And people can add their own spin to stuff, essentially. But common bases for fanfiction include novels, movies, comics, music groups, cartoons, anime, manga, and video games.
Basically, if you've seen it, there is a fanfic about it.
Yes.
The longest thing ever written was a fanfiction, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's, yes. The longest current fanfiction ever written is about an anime, I think I want to say.
Oh boy.
Hold on.
It's like lost on me.
It's like the largest volume of like written work ever, period.
Yeah.
And it's a fan fiction.
I'm intrigued to know what anime.
Hold on, let me find it. Oh no, it's not anime. Wait. Oh wait. That was 5 years. Hold on. I was just reading something about this recently.
I mean, Dead of Time was up there.
No, Dead of Time is not up there. Not up there in longest. Nope.
Really?
We're talking.
I'm over here
millions.
looking at the one I started.
We're talking about millions of words. Millions of words.
That's like Wheel of Time kind of up there.
Wheel of Time.
I'm sorry. I could do an entire episode on what I hate about the Wheel of Time. I could.
You know, I started that and I just put it on my bedside table and I never picked it up again.
I can't even get through the first book. And I've tried like 5 times.
I read them all. I finished last year, and I have so many things I could say about that.
The Loud House Revamped is the longest fan fiction. And then the second largest is a piece on Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, that one's like 7 million words. 7 million
that's
words.
That's the one I was thinking about. Yeah, that's the one that held like the record for like the longest time of being the longest. Piece
right now it's
of written word.
Second.
Yeah.
Second to the one the Loud House Revamped, which
that is insane.
I don't know what the Loud House is.
I don't either. But the Dead of Time, which is the one Ivy and I have read, that is only 715,000 words.
Only.
Compared to the 7 million words. So we're not even like I'm not even gonna pretend to do math here. There's a big difference in those numbers.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that, but then I really, really just was like, oh, math, no. Better not.
It's like way too many. Like I even like so the book the fanfic I'm reading right now. It is a long one, but it's so funny to me when you see your Kindle try to calculate the time. Because when I see it pop up for me, I'm a quick reader. I think Ivy and I are the two fast readers here, and I'm like, okay, like I could read this 3 to 500 page book in probably around 2 hours. Like, you know, I can sit down and do it. This is the Measure of a Man is listed at 588,000 words, and it was quoting me 12 hours, and I was like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
but a 300 to 500 page novel is in the range of 100 to 150,000 words. So you're talking about 500,000 words. 5 times the length of a normal novel. Or more.
Yeah, these fanfiction authors really have no chill. They just are out here popping off.
Especially Hermione authors.
Yeah. I will say something, like, we're going to talk about all fan fiction, and obviously Dramedy is going to be a hot topic. I love nothing more than seeing all of these very diverse and different, long, short, fucked up, sweet, whatever, things about the Harry Potter legacy being written to, like, have a colossal fuck you to the turf that is J.K. Rowling. There's nothing that, like, makes me happier than knowing that all of these people who she, like, betrayed their childhoods of by being a turf, I want to be very clear, fuck J.K. Rowling, but everyone who goes on to write these things, whether they're, like, just mundane or they're romance or they're whatever, oh, sorry, there's a cat behind Ivy. And yeah, I fucking hate J.K. Rowling. I will always have to say thank you for the magical world that shithead gave us. But Hermione's important.
Harvey just tried to slap Ivy. Harvey.
Harvey could feel
Be
my
nice
anger.
to your parental unit, please.
Fuck JK.
We are all witnesses.
Yeah. Well, she's trying to bully Grace, who's in the litter box, and I'm not chill with that.
We're not flinging shit this time.
Yeah. So a couple questions to start us off on this conversation, which you can answer however you'd like. What are some fandoms that you are a part of if you read fanfic, and what are your favorite ships if you have more than one? Erin, go. You are so excited.
I'm going to bare my soul. So
okay. Tell us.
I started reading fanfic on Quizilla, which is now long gone forever, which is so sad. And the first fanfics I read all the time were about My Chemical Romance and Gerard Way. I cannot even deny. It was like, that was like my core. Like, I was like, I needed to be like, I read My Chemical Romance ones. I absolutely read about Pete Wentz because there was nothing cooler than a high school girl than Pete Wentz. And I definitely read Panic at the Disco, like a handful. These are what I can remember off the top of my head. There's definitely Hermione, but it's so funny that I'm reading Hermione now because the one that I read that I was like so enamored with was there were like 2 Weasley brothers, and they were long works. Like, they were like, there was updates every week. I read it every single week, and it took me an hour to read on my shitty little phone, my little and an LG chocolate.
Yes.
Like, I got an LG chocolate. But it's definitely Harry Potter. I have not read a fanfic based on real people since high school, and I don't think I could now. Because something grew up in my brain, that it needs to be a not real person. But that's what I'm a part of. So right now it's mostly just Hermione, but I like, upon thinking about that, I'm like, I kind of want to go look up and see if I can't find anything with Fred Weasley. Why not?
Oh, for sure. So would you say that Hermione is your favorite ship in the Harry Potter universe?
Right now.
Yeah.
Although Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler have the
In Jurassic Park.
Velociraptors high up there right now. Yeah,
For
I
me,
think
it
it would
was-
have to be Hermione.
Yeah.
For me, it was Legend of Zelda. That was, I think, my first. I was a Ganondorf and Zelda fan. I liked the toxic kind of. To no one's surprise.
Not a single one of us gasp.
No. No.
Oh, where did you read it?
Oh, fanfiction.net.
I see. I've never
OG.
heard of anything outside of Quizilla, which is so crazy that I was like sequestered to this one website.
Yeah, I was actually a fanfiction.net stan for a long time. And when AO3 like started really coming on the scene, I was like, oh, AO3 sucks. Fanfiction.net is always gonna be the best.
Fanfiction.net or death.
Right.
I was. No, I really was. I betaed for authors on fanfiction.net. I was yeah, I actually did for a long time. A lot of fics. And then AO3 came about and I'm like, no. Absolutely not.
What is this?
Out of here.
And now nothing really ever gets. Now it's the opposite. You can't. Nothing really gets put on fanfiction.net anymore.
Like there is stuff on fanfic.net, but it's like it's just less accessible. Like it doesn't have the tagging system. It's just harder to like download for people that read on their Kindles. It's just a different experience. It's not impossible, but it's harder. Yeah. My first forays into fanfic were on fanfiction.net. And they were, I think we've talked about this in another episode. I'm pretty sure it was the TV show The Circle on Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah, because it got canceled after like one season or something. But I didn't know that I was reading fanfiction. Like I didn't know what fanfiction was. I just like went online trying to like find if it was based on a book or something and ended up reading fanfiction that was smutty, and I was like so shocked. That was not what I was actually looking for. And I remember just being like, because this was like a long time ago. This is like 15 years ago. And I just remember being like out of my mind. I was like, what is going on? Yeah. But I also read some in the 100 TV show. I love Clark and Lexa. Yeah, Clark and Lexa. And then in the Harry Potter universe, I like a lot of ships, but pretty much Hermione centric. Yeah.
So many.
Yeah. So many. Literally so many. Anyone else?
I'm new to the fan fiction thing. I didn't know it like existed. I don't know, like I was a good little church girl and I didn't know about these things on the internet. So I'm new. But you guys introduced me to the Mandalorian possibilities for our Mandalorian episode. So I have been low-key obsessed with Pedro Pascal themed fan fiction, but specifically for like The Last of Us. So I like it in that universe. Either with like I found some like with original characters made by the authors in that world. Sometimes with the reader, but like depends on how it's written. I don't necessarily like it written from like the reader's perspective, because it gets a little old. I like it a little bit more removed. But I also found one that's a mixture of Pedro Pascal, Charlie Hunnam, and Garrett Hedlund, and it's The Last Frontier, and it's
love all of this.
You're loving it.
Wait,
all three at the same time. Yeah, I will. And then my other thing is aloof Ryan Gosling. So Ryan Gosling in Drive, and then Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner. So Blade Runner fanfic.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I have a very like niche, and of course more Mandalorian stuff. So, but yeah, very niche things that I like.
Perfect.
I love it. I will say, seeing you discover it is so delightful. Like it really is, like, just because I'm not saying we're all fucked for having read it at 13 and under, like, and being like, I can do whatever I want, anarchy. But
I'm not saying that I didn't find straight up porn on LimeWire when I was much younger. I just didn't
Oh,
know that
LimeWire.
fan fiction existed.
Yeah.
just the
Did you get-
fanfic universe. I can't imagine writing without fanfic. Like, I don't know. I can't separate.
Yeah.
There's
It's
somebody
literature.
that we have read, like a traditionally published author who it was
Allie
Lick.
Hazelwood.
No. It was no. It's with Lix Robertson, who wrote the Viking Omegaverse books.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
Read
yeah.
that we really liked.
Yes.
Somebody wrote fanfic of that, and she had posted on her Instagram about how she was like honored that someone had written fanfic about
Aw,
her work, and
that's
she was like,
amazing.
please tag me in anything. Like, she's like, I love seeing that people create derivative work, which is like so refreshing, I think, of a take, because a lot of people like JKR, she who will not be named,
Bleh.
like, she
Bitch.
absolutely hates fanfic.
Bleh.
Of course she does, because people,
Write
fix
better than
their
her.
stuff. But she hates fanfic, and it's just so interesting to see how different people take.
She was
derivative
undeserving
work.
of the idea. That's
Yeah.
just where I'm at.
Yeah, she is.
I don't think she deserved it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I do like Hermione fanfic. I don't like it in the doses that you all do.
You mean you're not gonna spend a whole month like me just reading only
Absolutely
Or
not.
like
Absolutely
6
not.
or 7, or
I've now realized.
what?
I mean, it took me to almost under the month to realize I needed a book break in between.
But you could probably take Hermione and change character names and put it in front of me, and I would read it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
you
yeah,
could, like,
absolutely. I mean,
you
shit,
could
it's
totally
exactly
mask it.
what Allie Hazelwood did. That's
Yeah.
Although
I
Allie
actually-
Hazelwood was
amazing.
writing Raylo too.
I just informed a cousin of mine who also reads. Sarah, if you're listening, I'm talking about you. Not one of the other Sarahs. There's a third Sarah.
Another Sarah. There's too many Sarahs in this world.
That the love hypothesis was Raylo, and
Yeah.
like I had to go through and show her, and she was like, "Wow!" Like, but she isn't someone who would read fanfic, I would say. So she definitely, I mean, she read all of the Love on the Brain, like, love hypothesis books, but I was just like, yeah, actually, like, it's the Renaissance for fanfic authors. It's happening. It's their time.
So good.
But no, it's a nice diversion from other indie authors, and also from like your traditionally published
In life.
So life.
Yeah. And life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marie, what about you? What is your
I am here
fanfic
to
journey
learn.
look like? Yay!
I think that I'm 12 chapters into Manacled right now. And I started this morning at 9 a.m. and I worked all day. So,
Oh my goodness.
and I was very productive at work. We hustled, so all is well. But yeah,
Rather if you
I
didn't,
think I
you should've
just
called
dove
out.
head down into a fucking rabbit hole again. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Manacled.
and then Erin, it was so kind as to send me something that was very short.
Yeah,
But this feels like a
Oh.
completely different vibe from what I'm reading.
it is.
So I don't know if I want to go there because
It's porn with a dash of plot. What I sent you.
maybe we'll get to it later. Then.
It's called A Different Kind of Adornment. I know the
Oh.
author who wrote it. It is
Ooh.
not me. I
Okay.
didn't write this. No.
Okay.
The person who wrote this is very talented, and it's about a special piece of jewelry that Draco gives Hermione for Christmas. And it is just
not
a
a-
very.
oh.
It's.
Jacob's ladder.
I mean,
It's not a signet ring.
Hermione wears it.
Oh, Hermione
Um,
wears it.
Hermione
Okay.
wears it, yes.
Jewelry.
And
Interesting.
jewelry, yes. I
Okay.
can just it goes on her vagina.
I was
Goes-
thinking that that's
goes on her
probably
vagina.
where
It's a very
it
special piece of
was.
jewelry. But it's a very short one shot. But it's a good. I would say, like, there's already some canon events of like how the author believes the Draco universe. They also have other works that are short one shots. One of them is like a to-do list, like where Hermione is like so unexperienced and creates like a very clinical like to-do list of things to experience sexually. But yeah, it's a good one to start with. As far as like jumping into Hermione, I'm very fond of the author.
So this brings me to a good thing we can talk about: the different lengths of fanfiction works and the different kinds of works. Erin just said the word one shot a couple times, which usually a one shot is just something that is one chapter essentially, and it can be anywhere from, like, I don't know, the longest one shot I've probably read is probably 20,000 words, but that's definitely like a lot longer than a lot of them typically are.
Yeah.
But they could be from 0 to like something you would read in one sitting, essentially. So you have one shots, and then you have multi-chapter fics, multi-chapter fics, which are just what it sounds like.
Maybe
They're
some
multiple
crossovers.
chapters.
Yeah.
And they can be, you know, any number of chapters. And then you have epic length fics, which are the Measure of a Man, The Dead of Time.
Yep.
Manacled almost doesn't even count because it's only like 200,000 words, maybe. Manacled. It might not
What
even
was
be
the
200.
one that I just read that was like 5 pieces together? It was Continuum.
Continuum.
I think it
the
was.
one that
I
you
think
said
the
fucked you up.
fucked me up. I would love. I will need like a. Maybe we just have a pocket of like where like we'll put in warning. Erin's gonna spoil this warning, and I go off. But yeah, that series fucked me up. And that was, you know, funny you say like the one shot, like that could be longer. Within Continuum, there are 2 minis that are alternative chapters. 2 of them are alternative chapters to something that happened in the first part of it, Continuum, before you get to Uncharted. And those are also fucked up. But they're very long for like they were essentially a replacement chapter 49. Like one of them is alternative ending to chapter 49. Like that is, and it is just a completely the whole thing would have gone a different way. Like but I will say, as my partner has a strong aversion to time travel, if you cannot fucking handle time travel, if you don't like it, jumping timelines, do not read this series. That's the basis of it. Don't, if you it's very explicit as to like where it's jumping back and forth. But don't read it if you don't like time travel. And I will say time travel seems to be like jumping back and forth through timelines is something I've seen more in any fan fiction, not just Hermione, than any other like literature work. I see more of it in fanfic.
So that's talking about like time travel and the different ways that people write their stories. So one thing that I love about fanfic is that, especially on AO3, Archive of Our Own, every fic has tags, is what they're called. And they're just like ways to explain what is in your story before you read it. And so like you can literally pull up your little search bar in AO3 and say Hermione, Harry Potter, time travel, and it'll bring up all of the time travel fics that are tagged as time travel.
And 100 other I will say the tags of AO3 that exist are the
oh my gosh, they're some of the most unhinged, some of the best things. There are things that I never knew I liked until I saw it in a tag, and then I was like,
That's interesting.
Interesting.
Let me look at that.
Like some of my favorite ones right now are rolled sleeve agenda. That tag.
Yep, that's a good one.
That's a good one. Inappropriate use of the Malfoy signet ring is a very popular one.
Very popular.
Inappropriate use of Malfoy signet ring.
Yeah.
So many. Like, people can tag for all sorts of things, and I think it's like, especially when you're like talking about like sexual content or whatever, like, I just find it's really nice to be able to like look through the tags, and if there's something that I am not interested in, I can just click off of it. Bye bye. Don't waste my time.
Yep.
And I really love that.
And there's also tags. All right, so like this is something I've done in a long time. If you finish the whole AO3 work and then go back and read the tags, it's almost like being let in on a secret joke. Like, so I'm like, I just searched. I'm trying to remember the exact phrasing. I think someone here brought it up. Was happy ending if you squint.
Oh yeah,
Is
yeah.
one.
yeah.
I'm looking. I just tried to find the exact verbiage, but what I'm now seeing is no flies were hurt in the making of this story. Like, and these are just all different things that I'm just looking at. Like,
there's that one. There's one of my favorite tags is it's for Batmobile. Human on no. Whoa, shit! It's
is it
human
the
on mushroom violence.
Oh, I thought it was the nun violence.
Oh, unhinged. Yes, the nuns.
Unhinged
Oh my
nuns,
god,
yeah.
that Draco Malfoy and the mortifying ordeal of being in love is
Batmobile.
Batmobile. It is so good, and the tags are truly unhinged on that one, and they're amazing.
I'm also seeing one that says, "Don't judge my lack of research." Just as a tag.
Like, sometimes authors use tags to like actually tag their work. Sometimes they're like little funny quips to just have in there. Sometimes they're just ridiculous. I'm gonna go
now
look at
with
some
the
of
tags. I actually I have a question for everyone. Especially as like some of us are just starting to read fanfic, and some of us have already been. What do you prefer fanfic that is like it tries its best to stick to the actual original like published storyline, or do you like the characters being taken out of context and put into a whole different world? So
like AU.
Do you mean like really crazy AU? Like,
it depends. Like, so I feel like sometimes like I really enjoy fanfic, specifically Hermione, when it's like not under the premise of after the war. A very popular time frame is like
post-war.
What happens to them post-war. And I like when they're just them in a completely different setting, and they graduated Hogwarts and nothing bad happened. And just how they like just pretend characters all over. Like, honestly, at that point they could just be named anything different. I'd probably still enjoy the story. But I didn't know if you guys preferred one or the other.
I don't really care. I don't like cross universes like necessarily, unless both universes are something I like, but I don't mind if they're just like muggles. I don't care. Like, that's great. I'm fine with that.
I think I read something once where like Doctor Who showed up, and I stopped reading it immediately. I was like, absolutely fucking not. Absolutely fucking not.
That's where you draw the line.
That just slams the laptop shut. I was just like, no, that's not what I'm here for. This is not just a Brit fest right now. Like, no, I'm good.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I like canon compliant. I'm not a huge AU fan unless it's within enough within canon.
Yep.
But I differ with you because I like post-war. Give me the
trauma. I like post-war too. And like, I'm fine with like, especially if we're talking about Harry Potter, like post-war. Like, I'm fine if like characters don't die, if different characters die. Like, I mean, one of my favorite tags, which I think Ivy also agrees with me on this, is Ron bashing. Like,
I fucking hate Ron.
Love Ron bashing.
I hate Ron Weasley. I had a friend at work recently say that she had been interested in Manacled, but she actually really loved Ron Weasley. And really loves that they got together at the end. And I immediately was like, I gotta I changed the conversation because my coworker thought Ron Weasley was the best match for Hermione.
Oh
where I was
God,
going with
no. I can't with Ron Weasley. I don't even like Ron being in stories, period. Like, I have read some that are, like, neutral on Ron, and I'm just like, you don't
The last one I read, he
interest
had the
me.
shit kicked out of him for being an asshole. Like he
I love
almost
that.
and like he ends up being kind of a bigot in like a
Oh.
big way. Like, and it's a reverse harem Hermione. It's
Oh, you read
yeah.
You Can Never Trust Paperwork.
Yes, I read You Can Never Trust
Oh,
Paperwork. Yeah,
yes. I
and
love
so
that
there
one.
are 4 partners to the one Hermione.
Yeah.
And Ron is very
Wan.
upset because
Yes.
Wan's not included. And Wan basically turns into a shitbag and then
Mhm.
gets the actual shit kicked out of him, which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me it depends on what fic I'm reading, but like if I'm gonna read the Last of Us fic, I need Joel to be like angsty, dirty man Joel. Don't give me a fanfic of The Last of Us where he's nice.
Because he's not.
Like, you need him to
Dirty,
be in
angry
character.
man.
I need
No,
him to be
out
in
of character.
Like
Yeah.
I can't have like the sweet like no.
Mhm.
He's not a cuddly.
Yeah.
I need him rough.
Can I do a good slap noise? I feel like it's coming in muffled.
So, and
Maybe.
I'm reading one. It's super long because I've only read like 2 chapters, and it's in the universe, but it's like before the breakout,
Mm-hmm.
and he is on the rough side, but everything is just a little too shiny, and I'm just like,
Not enough.
I need a zombie to like run through or something. I need some trauma. I need something. Because everything is just a little too happy.
Valid.
I feel that. Don't read Continuum. I think it's too much. It's too bad. It made me feel not good.
Oh.
Not good. I questioned reality.
Oh no.
Which brings up a good point. That we can stop
reality?
reading anytime. If something is
Can
too
we?
much for you,
Can we? Because I need to finish things.
we can just click the back button and move on.
I'm not gonna lie, I almost DNF'd Eagle's Nest.
Yeah, that would have been
get
valid.
brutal at the end. It gets really brutal. Like for out of nowhere, I feel like
I'm a virgin.
I can't believe I forgot that whole arc.
I can't perform the rite that would free me from all these marks because I'm a virgin.
Wait, what?
I was at a plot point, and the year of our Lord 2024, whatever the fuck that was written. Why was that a plot point?
I don't know how old that one is. Let me look.
All right, with the age of it, you definitely can. I feel like there is like fanfic authors. Obviously, like we're growing with them as they're writing more. Like there are people who write a lot of fanfic. Like a great example is senlinyu. When you see those younger works, I feel like they're very much it's a loud and proud display because it's not like they're trying to work with a publishing house to get a book deal. You see their age when you get those storylines all the way through. Like I'm very curious now that like you really bring it up, Ivy, like when Eagle's Nest was put out and how old that author was at the time.
So the first chapter was uploaded in April of 2018 and it was completed in September of 2020. So it was a 2-year journey.
Yeah.
Which
did they put out anything else?
Let me look. Yes, they're still writing.
Oh,
yeah.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Yeah, I think it's just very like, granted, they're also like when you see, I feel like we tend to be I don't know. It's too. There's no middle ground. Either we're a little more forgiving with fanfic, or we hold it under a more concentrated microscope, because we're used to authors who have editorial teams. Granted, like a lot of these writers who are on AO3, they do have beta readers, but while a beta reader is good, and there's some may be editors in real life, there is a certain level of fine-tooth combing that comes with like an editor. And obviously what we're reading with published works from, you know, Penguin House or wherever, we're seeing that book be filtered through many different filters to become a public consumable book. Whereas this is the part where like I am more forgiving for fan fiction writers, is that fan fiction is just a flaming dumpster pit. It's just such beautiful things can come from it. But
What the fuck?
it's just sometimes I'm just like, all right, great example, Juno Delights episode. How many works did I find of Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo getting at it?
I'm sorry, I'm still hung up on beautiful things coming out of a dumpster fire.
The Phoenix.
Yes.
Just two possums holding pieces of cardboard together.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so who's doing fan art of that?
Yeah.
Could be me. It's one of my new awful drawings. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
So yeah, fan fiction is very varied. There's so much going on. Yeah, but hopefully authors are tagging their fics with what is in them.
Yes.
And using the appropriate, especially on Archive of Our Own. Archive of Our Own has 4 big options to tag works. Which I'm gonna have to look at it, but like, so that everybody has to like say, yes, I'm choosing to tag this as, well, first the rating, if it's explicit, if it's mature, if it's teen and up, if it's general audience. So like, it is nice that there are some options, and then Archive of Our Own specifically makes authors tag archive tags, which include graphic depictions of violence, major character death, rape, non-con, or underage. So if your fic includes any of those, you should also be using archive tags. And I have found that most stuff is tagged pretty well in what I've seen, what I've read.
Speak, I'm muted. No longer muted, but no, for the most part, yeah. I think that's just to hop over to Storygraph. That's something that I feel like I see more thorough tagging through AO3 than I do when I'm looking at something. Granted, Goodreads doesn't really have the same tagging tool that Storygraph has. Storygraph also, just whole round of applause for such a small team putting this thing together. Storygraph, I love it. But it's, I don't know, like the regular books, like you don't get a list of tags when you pick up a book from Barnes and Noble.
Although that is becoming more popular.
Yes.
But it is not as prolific as in, I think, fanfiction, the tagging stuff, which is good. Yeah, we like it.
Absolutely. No, I do like it a lot. I love the tags, and I just, in a weird way, I think it makes the authors more personable when you get those funny tags.
Yeah,
you get to connect with them a little more, other than seeing someone's like sleeve.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
little...
I like it. Yeah. So yeah, I made a little list of, I called it Kitty's Tenets for Healthy Fandoms. Essentially, it's a list of things that I wish someone would have told me when I started dipping my toes into fanfiction. Of like, what are the do's and don'ts of fanfic? Because we have to remember that fan fiction is completely different from traditional publishing. Like, it's not the same world, even though we're all readers and we're all doing our thing. It's not the same. And so there are some rules of engagement that are usually not made clear until, like,
Way later.
way so much later, until people are, like, yelling at you for something that you have no idea that maybe you've committed a faux pas that you did not know of.
Illegal. Jail.
Or you've done something illegal. Yeah.
Straight to jail.
So I have a little list here of things we can talk about, and all of the things on this list made me very uncomfortable when I first was finding out about them. So yeah, let's just get into it. Fan fiction, we've kind of already talked about this, but fan fiction is a gift from authors to readers, and there's a lot of things that come with that. Erin has already really covered the whole, it's not gone through a rigorous editing process. Maybe. Like, I also beta for a couple people. I have a couple ongoing works that I beta for, and I'm not perfect. Like, we're catching some stuff, but we're not catching everything. And so, yeah, if you don't like how something is written, move along.
Shut up.
If you don't have anything nice to say,
Shut the fuck up.
seriously, just don't say it. Again, these people are just writing because they love to write, usually. That's why they're writing. They're not professionals. And you don't need to tell them that they're not professionals. I guarantee that they know. They know. They know that they're not professionals.
But what they're doing makes them happy.
It does, yeah.
And there's a high chance it's making someone else happy.
Yeah. I already kind of said this to Erin also, but you are responsible for what you read. Mind the tags. Read the tags, Erin. Read the fucking tags. Mind them. If you're uncomfortable, stop reading. It is pretty much universally acknowledged that if you're reading something and there is like a huge trigger list like in the work that is not in the tags, like, it's appropriate to leave a respectful comment.
Yeah.
And say, hey, perhaps this should be tagged. Can you please tag this? This was very triggering to me. Well,
especially if it's like one of the, I don't want to say there's like a big list, like a big 5. But when you get a certain amount, like, I'm going to say, all right, I'm about to say some triggering words in the next like 5 seconds for if anyone wants to skip over it. Miscarriage, murder, death of a parent, death of a child, rape, sex trafficking. There is, I often find, but is often overlooked as a tag, cheating. Infidelity is often really overlooked as a tag, and I have a hard time reading that. And it's okay to, like, if you want someone to comfortably be like, those are like, a soft line for you to read it. It's nice to know ahead of time, so you're braced for it. That's what you're reading. If you love the rest of the work and you can get over that one snippet of it, fine. But it's nice knowing ahead of time. No one likes to be surprised by that. No. It's bad.
Well, some people don't like to know, but those people just don't read the tags. And they know that, again, they are responsible for what they read. And there we go. This one is a positive, but it's not something that I thought of until like the last month or so. But if you're reading your fic on a Kindle or on your phone and you're not on the AO3 website or wherever you're reading and you actually liked it, make sure to go back and leave a kudo, which is just like a heart on AO3, and leave them a nice comment. Like, comments mean everything to writers, and they like to know that you liked it. So, support the people that you like to read. This one is very important. If you're following a whip, don't be the person in the comments that's asking for updates or if this fic is abandoned every 3 days.
What's so funny about
Don't
that?
do it.
I read Sugar and Spice, and then I read the whip following it and Everything Nice, which is currently on a hiatus. The author has shared all that information, yada yada. So I wrote working for 2024 to write actual reviews on things I read.
Mm-hmm.
Someone replied to my comment on Goodreads, which never happens.
Oh.
And asked me, well, does this plot point specifically get wrapped up? And I was like, and every other thing that says this is, I mentioned in my review that this is still a work in progress. I would love to see it finish. Like, I really enjoyed what I read.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, bud, the fuck? I wasn't that rude on Goodreads. But I was just like, this is currently, if you look at every other thing, including the updates the author has left on this, this
Mm-hmm.
is, they have a busy life. They've shared a
Yeah.
lot more detail than they really needed to. You can just say, I can't get to this right now.
Yeah.
That plot point isn't addressed. It's still a work in progress and it's unfinished.
Don't know. Thanks for
Like,
asking.
go read every other fucking comment on the
I know.
fic.
It's like so
That
true.
that
Like,
literally happened like 2 days ago. It's so funny you say that, because I was just like, really?
It's
Because I
like-
wrote like it's unfinished.
it's really uncomfortable even to just read those comments as a reader.
Yeah.
Like my favorite whip right now that I've been following for months, on Twitter. People leave her comments all the time being like, which she updates it very regularly, and people leave comments all the time, and I know because she has talked about how like that like negatively impacts her ability to write, and like it makes sense. So just be nice to authors, to fic writers. Be nice to them. Don't be mean.
It costs nothing to be nice.
Exactly. Yes.
Nothing.
Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna get into some of the big hitting stuff. But fanfic, if you remember from the beginning, we talked about how it is a derivative of a copyrighted work, something that somebody else wrote or produced. It's in the world. So, knowing that, monetary profit of fanfic is illegal in any form. Copyright
Jail.
infringement is real and scary. Yeah.
Jail.
Yeah.
So, especially supporting Etsy sellers that are offering bound copies of fanfic is not something that I am going to personally recommend. It scares a lot of authors. Yeah. And usually the people that are on Etsy selling fanfic are like being really shady about it and like sending their shit to Barnes and Noble to have them print it.
Yep, and they're also, I will say, so I follow a bookbinder, and I feel like more often than not, so it's I think all of us might follow them too. It's JM Binding. They not only, like, when I see, like, because they just recently had a scamming thing where, so they were binding books as gifts, like that was like, which I get, and they were not selling it. It was not a sell. This is their hobby. This is what they do, which is really beautiful. And obviously there's a bartering with other people who do bound copies. But they point blank don't sell. So a lot of those Etsy sellers, which, like, honestly, like, always do your research on who you're buying from or what you're buying, they were scamming JM Binding and posting pictures of their work.
Yeah.
So not
not
only is it stealing someone's work, it jeopardizes the person who's making these beautiful bindings, and they're not doing anything illegal, but it's putting them in a question of, oh my god, they could take the fall for someone being a scammer.
Yeah, because they're stealing their typeset or their
the
cover
whole
art, like everything.
The whole thing. Yeah. Which is
because there are people that, you know, see, because works like Manacled have blown up on social media, there are droves of people coming to fanfiction that have never been in fanfiction before. That's what brought me back to fanfiction, like in a big way. And people just don't know. Like, as consumers, we're just like, oh, perfect. This thing that I read online, I can buy it. Great. Like, let me do that. And, like, the sad part is, like, that puts other people in a really awkward position, which is really sad. So, please consider not purchasing bound copies of fanfic. If you would like a copy, there are so many tutorials online to learn how to bind your own fanfic.
And maybe you
do
found
it.
a brand new hobby.
Yeah, hobbies are good.
Hobbies are good.
So tying right into this is a lot of authors, especially those ones with those big followings, Manacled, Secrets and Masks, Batmobile. A lot of those authors have, if you go to their social media, author policies that are usually pinned right at the top of their profile. And they have, policies about what they would like to see as far as people binding their work, as far as people leaving reviews, and just respect what authors want. If they do not want their stuff on Goodreads, don't put it on Goodreads. Like, we will survive if we don't have one book on Goodreads. I guarantee it. But a lot of authors, like, especially with the public rating of, which I didn't actually write this down because it kind of all folds into this, with the public rating, like a star rating of fanfic, a lot of authors are really uncomfortable with that because, again, this work that they've put out into the world, it isn't edited professionally. It's like a lot of times these authors are writing week by week. Like, they have an outline, they kind of know where they're going, but they're just writing a chapter a week, and that is like not the same experience as you're gonna get with a book.
Having to submit a whole manuscript
Yeah,
and go through it that way.
exactly. Yeah. So it's my personal opinion that we should not be rating fanfic on Goodreads, but that's my personal opinion. Not everybody agrees with that. I do like Storygraph because Storygraph does not share ratings and reviews publicly. So it's just, you just can see it, which is very nice. But everybody's going to do what they're going to do, but that's my opinion. And that's like, that one was really, really hard for me. The first video I ever saw about somebody talking about don't rate fanfic, it was not nice. It was a very mean video, and I don't even know why I watched the whole thing. Like, and I felt so uncomfortable. I was like, I've literally never heard any of these words before, and you are being so mean in this video. Like, I know their heart was in the right place and like they were frustrated, but I was like, we can be nice about it, like explaining why it's not great fanfic. But like, again, works like Manacled are always going to be on Goodreads. And like, for me, if people hadn't been rating fanfic, it's a double-edged sword. If people hadn't been rating it,
like how do
I
others
would never
find
have
it to keep
exactly.
it?
So it's like, it's this very interesting, how do we like share about the things that we are enjoying and liking and reading, without like being disrespectful to authors. I don't know. It's a hard line. Don't know the right answer, but here we go. And the last thing I have on my list is, don't use AI to write fanfic or create fan art.
Please don't.
Don't do it. Especially fan art. AI is, it's not good. We don't have to get into the particulars, but just Google AI controversies if you don't know what's up with that.
It's not good. A few of us work in fields where AI is growing to an extent where it's greatly impacting our jobs, when it comes down to like how you interact with applying for a job, or what you're using as data, or there's a lot of different ways it impacts, and it's kind of bleeding into our hobbies, including reading. AI can be, I don't know, it can't, I don't trust robots personally.
We've all seen Terminator.
Yeah, we've all seen Terminator. I've seen, what is it? What's the I Am Robot? Yeah, no, the part of the human, I'm gonna get like really real for like a hot second. Part of the human experience is being able to express yourself organically. And if you feel as though you have to contribute to a fanfic universe and use AI and not use your own words, you need to sit down and look at yourself and see why you're doing that. Like, really, like, if you feel like you need to contribute, And if you feel as though like you have to do it with the help of AI and you can't just be yourself, let's take out the fan fiction part and worry about why you can't just be yourself. Maybe. Maybe work on that first. Because
so many things to consider.
yeah, that's my real talk for the month.
Yeah,
Just
and
gotta
that was
circumvent me talking about fucking a velociraptor earlier in the
God.
episode.
Balance.
Yeah, this is me balancing it out.
Yeah, I know this is definitely more of a serious little section here about how to interact with fanfiction, because I mean, when it's all said and done, like I absolutely love fanfiction. It is
Yes.
You can literally find anything and everything, and I have read fanfic that is so much better than a lot of published books that I have read.
Oh yeah.
And like,
Wow.
I think the thing that we love about fanfic the collective we here, like, is that you get to see the characters that you love fall in love again and again, or be in these different situations, and it's like it's just so much less work for my brain sometimes to be like, oh, I already know these people, I know their quirks, I know what they're about, but let's just put them in a different situation.
Magic system. There's no new political system. What is this
world
language?
building.
How do I say this word?
Yeah. Exactly. Which is one thing I love about fanfic, is that we can I can just enjoy
It's comforting.
Stories. Yeah.
It's comforting.
It's good. Yeah.
Maybe not about, like I said, not fucking a velociraptor, but it's comforting.
I mean, if that's what you want to read, then please do not let us stop
Changes
you.
by Squeaky Chew Toy.
Yeah. Squeaky Chew Toy.
Just the name.
I know. Changes is the name of a fanfic I read, but it was not that. It was not that. Nope. Not that universe.
Yep. And I will say, in a weird way, it's a great way. Like, all right, if you are a new reader to romance or smut and you found us, and this is your first episode, I'm sorry. But if there are certain aspects you think you like, AO3 is a really great way if you're comfortable. Like, Saratu's not with us tonight, but Saratu loves Outlander. She's talked about having read Outlander over and over again, and that is a go-to series for her. If there was a different theme that you wanted to experience within the Outlander universe, if you wanted to branch off, if you were really attached to a character, well, what if so-and-so and so went this way, or X, Y, and Z, or like if they stayed together, or I don't know much about Outlander, but you get the gist. AO3 is a great way to expand your horizons without trying to go blindly into a new book, but stay within the universe you're comfortable with. And still within respects to the author, because people love their work so much, they're creating new works from it.
And I mean, I also recognize that fanfiction is not for everyone. Not everybody wants to have to work so hard to read this story on their Kindle, which we do have an article on our website that gives you all the step-by-step instructions to get fanfic on your Kindle. We also have a reel on Instagram on how to get it on your phone on your Kindle, or the Kindle app.
I literally use it every time myself.
Yeah. So,
so glad.
Go find those resources. You can you can read fanfic just like you read a normal ebook.
AO3 is free.
It is free. I think that's one thing I love about fanfic is it is free, and even with a Kindle Unlimited subscription, which all of us here have, sometimes you just want more or something different. And there's so much to read.
Free.
It is free. Fanfic is free.
All
and
it
if you are
costs is
paying for
giving a
fanfic,
kudo.
that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
You better be the star of that story, though.
Yeah.
All right. Can someone, if you have paid someone for you to be the star of a Hermione, and you kill Hermione and you're now Draco's #1 boo thing, can you email me the resource at Erin@feralfridaypod.com? My birthday's coming up. Thank you. Bye.
Is that what you
Like
want? You want a
detailed-
story?
I want a
You want a
detailed
story?
about how I get zooted into the Hogwarts universe by Doctor Who,
Oh my
dropped off with
God.
Ellie Sattler, the Velociraptor, who kills Hermione, and then I take her place, and it's me and Draco forever. That's what I want.
Are you pretending to be Hermione or are you you?
No, I'm me.
You're you.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's no longer Hermione, it's
Mr. Mimey.
Draken.
Draken. Airco.
Airco. God. My brain's dead.
Oh.
Which is
but
you know what? Because honestly, you could find a fanfic that is exactly that.
Probably. One of my favorite things about fanfic is the ridiculous ship names that people come up with. Like, oh,
Good.
and there's like I read Snape and Hermione, and like people either
Yes.
call it Snumini, which that's what I usually call it, or Sevmini.
I've seen
And then,
Hermione more
yeah,
often.
like Remus and Hermione can be Remini or oh shit, what's the other one? Don't know at the moment because I just say Remini. But when you get into like trios, like poly situations, and they just get more unhinged as they go, it's great.
I
Yeah.
just found
Mm-hmm.
Tell me.
a fanfic. It's called A Tale of Two Hobbies.
Of two what?
Hobbies.
Okay.
It's Pedro Pascal. But it's Javi from Narcos.
Oh
And
my
then Javi from The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh my god. I don't know if we need that.
I think
think
Sarah
Sarah
needs
does.
that.
I think
Yeah.
Sarah does.
I think Sarah
needs
does.
it. Sarah needs
Yes,
it.
yes.
We'll find out later.
Bookmarking
Oh my
that.
Oh yeah,
See you guys
the number
later.
of tabs on my phone, it doesn't have a number anymore.
okay,
It's literally
bye.
just a smiley face. There's no number. It's just a smiley face because I have too many AO3 tabs open. Oops.
So if so I had mentioned 2 episodes ago because I was absent last episode.
You were.
I was. I am only reading Hermione for the month of February. But if anyone has any other,
I sent you a Sermini.
Yeah, I read that too.
Did you
It's
read
fine.
the Serious in a Cowboy Hat one?
I don't know if I did yet. I have the
You
list
would
in front of
remember
me.
if you
I'm
had.
behind now, which sucks, but not that it actually matters. There's no real rules to life.
There's
If
not.
anyone has interesting fanfics they've read, and I'm gonna ask specifically outside of the Harry Potter universe, send them to us. They
Yeah.
can be ones you actually love. They could be ones that were ridiculous, like what I read at the beginning of the episode. I want to know about them. Tell me what your favorite tag is. I really want to know.
Ooh.
Tell me
Yeah.
your favorite tag. Let us know in our DMs. And I'll make a silly reel afterwards, and you can see what everyone puts together. Because I'm looking at one that says I've got a fever and the only prescription is more dildo. And I dare you to Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Contest for most unhinged tags. Go.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's what we
Yeah.
talk about fanfiction.
We love fanfiction. We're going to keep talking about it. Because there's going to be one of us reading fanfic at some time. At any point in time.
Probably you.
Probably me. I have not been on my reading game. I've been writing too much lately, so I gotta get back on that.
We love that for you, though.
Thank you.
It's a new thing.
It's a new thing.
You like
Yeah.
new things.
Okay.
Alright, well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for coming along.
Yep.
It's a
We
All
great
love
right.
time.
you.
Well,
Don't stop reading.
No. Keep
No.
reading. Until next week.
Bye.
tits out. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Feral Friday podcast. Join us every Friday for unhinged shenanigans, books, games, and more. You can find us on Instagram at Feral Friday Pod. Did you know we have a website? Visit us at www.feralfridaypod.com. Make sure to give us a like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you'd like us to cover a particular book or series, please send us an email at bferal@feralfridaypod.com. Happy reading!
Feral Friday.